Morning, guys. Figured I'd take you guys out with me for a bit of a morning walk. Those bright red zinnias that we planted in the little seed starters, and look at those nasturtiums. They're growing outside of the bed. I need to tuck that tendril back in. And ground cherries. I told you, they're such a weed. That's the okra. You see the lattice work on said okra? That is the work of Japanese beetles. And we have a bag like back there to try to attract them away, but it is what it is. And they are a menace this time of year. We have bags all over the property. They've eaten my roses, my cherry trees. Like, they are a menace. They're everywhere. But so the lighting may be terrible, but this is the first time I've been out here this morning, and really the first time I've been out here in a couple of days, because of course it's the weekend of the 4th and everything's been mass chaos. You got reunions, you got family events, you got stuff out. It's been storming, so we've not been able to get out here to look at some stuff. So you're seeing things as I'm seeing things, and so we'll look and see if we have things to harvest, and then see if we can thread some things back up the trellises, you know, with the wind and the growth from all the rain and that kind of thing. But one of the new things I've still got to go through and weed, but I wanted to show you this. All the mulch through here, which you see the weeds and stuff, we just kind of put the mulch on top of it. Our peach trees died. Between the fungus, I've got to cut all that back, but with the fungus that we had going on, we ended up getting a wood chipper and cutting them down. They were completely dead, and so we have repurposed the mulch into the path, and I've still got to clean this up because we were doing it right before a storm, and I was lucky to have gotten it over here and dumped out before the storm hit, because it was like really lightning and kind of crazy, and we had rented the wood chipper, and so we needed to get it done, and we were rushing, and so it's very messy, and it's been raining or we've been gone, and I've never been back out here to be able to clean it up the rest of the way. But so the cucamelons, I'm gonna leave these out of the path. They finally have made their way up this way. I don't know, but if you look, these are my silver slicers, and I have a couple I can pick. Don't want to damage the plant. Look at those. They're white cucumbers, and they're called silver slicers, and they are amazing, which we haven't, I mean, we're getting some hot days now, but they are amazing because even when it is hot, they don't get bitter. Oh, these are the regular cucumbers. These are the pickling ones. And look at that. Wow. Okay, so I've got one there. May need to pick that one. Kind of wonky looking, but hey, whatever, it'll eat. And there are probably more in there that, oh, there's another one. Told you, there's more in there that I need to get. So it looks like I am making some tzatziki sauce later with my cucumbers. It's my favorite thing to make in the summer. Look at that, sweet. I love all the little blooms. I love it when it gets wild like this. Like, obviously I need to train these back up into the path, or back up into the trellis, but I love it when it gets wild like this. I love the, I don't know, the I can do anything of it. I am willing to grow under any and all circumstances, and I can grow any which way that I want to grow. And I really, really enjoy that about having a garden that I am bare minimum tending to. Now, granted, there are some negatives, especially with my tomatoes. I've been trimming them, but I need to trim more because they're not getting enough air, and I'm getting some blight. But I do have big bunches of tomatoes that are doing well, and so I cannot complain. Sorry, my arm in the way. Got big bunches of tomatoes. Knock on wood, I'll kind of keep an eye out on it for it now, but I have not seen any caterpillar damage. But it's been so wet, they don't tend to like a lot of wet, and you can see where the wind like has blown this over. But the basil, I need to get out here and cut the basil again, because if you look, they're starting to try to flower again. So I'll come through and I'll cut all this. I have gotten this stuff to make pesto, so I'm going to end up making pesto and freeze some of that. I'm going to make some more basil discs. I grew a lot of basil this year just for that. But if you notice, I've got a cucumber that's all the way over there now. I've got cucumbers that are all the way out here now. And they've got tons of blooms on them down in there. So they are doing okay. And I mean, I've got one growing up here, like in the tomatoes. Hey, there's a little bumblebee. Oh, there's a white cabbage moth. Now, something that's messy, all of this is all great and good and growing like it's supposed to. This is stuff that's fixing to have to start coming out. You see how that kale has gotten so ragged? That is just a feeding ground for the cabbage whites at this point. I'm just making more of them. They are living their best life in that. So I'm fixing to have to take those out. Ironically, the other ones seem to be doing fine, but I have a feeling that once I take these out, they'll move on to those. But the chard is doing great. And then I'm kind of letting these tomatoes sprawl. I need to tie them up here because these are Tommy toes. Some of them have even started putting on some little tomatoes. I think there's some back over there. But the chard is doing well. Like I've been pulling some of the lower leaves off that have kind of just gotten too wet to give them more room to breathe. But yeah, I mean, this is waist high to me. This is hip high. I mean, they are healthy. I will probably harvest more of that to put in the freezer for soups and stuff. Ooh, I think I got it in an ant's nest. But the dill is taller than me at this point. Like this, I am not in the garden bed, I'm on the actual ground, and it's taller than me. But I love the flowers and stuff that come from this. Ever since I put that in a few years ago, I let it self-seed back in there because I absolutely love this. I love the wildness of it. I love the textures and the different colors. You've got the yellows, you've got the like teal green, you've got the dark greens, the light greens, you've got the rainbow charge, you've got pinks and orange and yellow. And it's all edible. Like all of it is food that I could come out here and decide to put in something. And so I will eventually clean up and it won't be as wild. But for right now, the pollinators are absolutely loving it. I don't know if you can see all the teeny tinies. You see all this blown over. This is where we had a big storm yesterday. It will all stand back up. Speaking of the cabbage whites, look, I mean, I really shouldn't, but they are pollinating stuff, like all these little bitty pollinators right here. But they are doing their things. But yeah, the catnip, all of it's really wet. This is really early in the morning. And so once the sun gets out and starts heating things up, all of this will stand back up and we'll be fine. But so I'm just kind of enjoying. My toes are wet from the dew out here. All this is blown over, all of it's everywhere, but it'll be fine. The one thing, my peppers aren't really doing much. And I really don't know why. I've given them plenty of room this year and they've got sun, so I'm not sure why they're not wanting to do their thing. I've not had luck with a whole lot of peppers lately. Last year, my peppers were really, really late coming in. Now I did end up with a bunch of peppers, but it was late in the season. I didn't think I was going to. These should start blooming. I'm looking for blooms. These should start blooming at any time. I should start getting okra blooms and okra at any time. But there's more basil under this that I've got to trim. But I'm gonna walk back over here and get my coffee. That was a huge anthill. I don't know if it still is. Take it out. But yeah, you're getting me like straight out of the bed basically, but it's nice to be out here and to be seeing what's going on as soon as I, take a break and walk out here where I've not been out here for days. It's interesting to see everything and how everything has changed. But we do have some stuff that needs to be done today. Obviously, I'm looking around for things to do that need to be done with this. So I'm gonna probably start doing some of it. Oh, you know what? I need to walk you over here and show you this first. You know how I told you I didn't grow any squash this year? I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I've been having so many problems with vine borers. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do squash this year. It's not worth it. I get like one good round out of it, and then it's dead. And so it's just, I would rather grow other things. And because I get so frustrated with the vine borers with it, and you have to constantly watch it. And even then, like, you can't prevent them, it seems. So that being said, watch this. Obviously, we've not had a fire in our fire pit for a bit because of this. They started growing where birds had carried seeds over here, something, not sure. But we've got some type of wild squash that we didn't plant, volunteer, and there's a lot of fruit on it. I've already gotten some. One of the plants is long neck squash, like yellow neck squash. I've already got one off of it. The other one I think is like a cross with like a pumpkin, or it's power patty, but what we call spaceship squash, because they look like little spaceships. But you see them in the bumpy butt in there. But yeah, they're like a pie patty almost. And I've already, oh, there's another one. I've already gotten several off of this. I haven't eaten them yet. I've eaten the long neck one, and it tasted like squash, but I haven't eaten the other ones yet. I don't know if they're going to be like more pumpkin-y. Because again, we didn't plant these. These are total crosses. But you look how healthy these bloody things are. If I'd have put these things in the garden, the vine borers would have been all over them. I've even tried moving them around. I've moved them to different garden beds, and they just didn't grow. They end up not doing well, and it drives me insane. And so I didn't do it this year. I wasn't going to do it this year. And then lo and behold, here we are. I've got squash, volunteer squash. Don't understand why, but it is what it is. And that's gardening a lot of times. Like, you're just like, I'm fed up with this. I'm just not going to do it. And then you end up doing it anyway. So it kind of works out that way. But I've got a few of these videos I need to splice together. I've got some down with the sunflowers, and I may actually pause this so you're not with me walking all the way down there, and just do a little quiet video of the bees and things while I'm down there, because they're with the one row of them is all bloomed out. They're gorgeous. And then the other ones are like knee high. And so when those start dying off and falling over, I'll have a whole new round in another 3 weeks. So I'm kind of excited about having double rounds of sunflowers, and I may just do that. I may cut this one off and then clip back in with those sunflowers. So let's pause this. I'll say good morning. You guys have a good 4th. And then I'll just throw some sunflowers in at the end, because, I mean, what says July more than sunflowers? They're absolutely covered in pollen. It's so great. Look at Olive. I don't know if you can see them in the air right there flying. All those little ones. They're everywhere. And then here's the next round coming up. Got watermelons back there, and then these are the pumpkins that we're growing. We're growing some like blue pumpkins. I think that's these, and then the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins for the kids, like the real big ones that you carve. No intentions of eating those. Those are strictly for the kids, and they're filling in that gap good. So, but all this was planted late, so we're just now starting to see blooms and stuff on these. But yeah, got a couple of apples on my apple tree. This poor apple tree has been with us since we moved in, and it's been trying and trying, and it can't win for losing. But it's the only one that survived out of all of them. And then our, you know, our peach trees are gone, completely gone. I have a feeling those are going to take off soon. Like, they'll fill this entire space. I don't know if you guys remember last year, but they were filling this entire area. But we do have some storm damage. You notice we have some sunflowers on the ground. Some of them have fallen over to the rain and the storms. They pull up, they get so heavy. But we're going to enjoy them while we can. And just love them while we can. So it's the little things that make me happy like this. Happy 4th, guys.